God damn, where did all that time go? In Yu-Gi-Oh, that's where.
Gamers, gals, my non-binary pals. Again, welcome back to the MBT coal mines. I gotta start farming those reactions because Summoner's Nexus really needs me to make those videos on time. You know what I'm saying? Anything for the sponsorship. But before we get into today's video, this video is brought to you by Summoner's Nexus. Summoner's Nexus is a digital RPG that's been in development for the past 4 years out of love for games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Marvel Snap. The game is designed for a dynamic back and forth with both players taking turns simultaneously and neither player ever feeling completely shut out of the game, but they're watching their opponent perform a cutscene while they're comboing off. The game is currently available in early alpha, which is completely free to download and play on both Android and iOS, with a PC port coming in the near future. With hundreds of cards currently in rotation and a passionate team putting everything on the line behind it, I highly recommend for you all to give Summoner's Nexus a look at the link on screen.
Good day, Chief.
Description down below.
Today is poised to be a delightful day.
But anyways, the NBT don't get tricked by
The day is over, Yelena.
cards. I mean, hey, I like win cards. I'm a dirty little win player who will play the Mitsurugi trap in my disgusting 45 card Frysio Mitsurugi deck. Whatever it takes. Anyways, NBT made this video. I want to watch it, so let's give it a peek.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here.
An arm and a head. You know, normally playing this deck costs you an arm and a leg, but today it's costing him an arm and a...
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka...
Good intro there.
And we are back. Another Twitter thread. God, the lack of Twitter threads every single week just makes each individual one feel so special. Today we're talking about win more cards. Now, what is a win more card?
Is this video sponsored by Rincon? I see NBT does not wear fucking headphones.
One of my favorite things to do is saying no to arrogant guys.
Want to win more? Well, not necessarily. Win more cards are cards that are played exclusively in game states where you
Are you here to see me, Chief? Feel free to take the time to look at the new supplies, too.
And this and it resolves, I can go into this big, unsummonable doofus one in every 10,000 games, each of which I'm already walking. Today I want to talk not only about those cards, but about the reasons you have for coping on them. And I'm going to begin with one of my favorites from this current format, Dragon Master Magia. The real reason people play this is they got suckered into purchasing a $700 card. Understand, it's so accessible in Blue Eyes, they can set the fusion, you can make it at any time, and it does lose to everything that Blue Eyes already loses. Let's see what you can run. In At Igniter, you can run this piece of... You get another counter on Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid and bounce on Singularity. You could also theoretically run Code of the Soul, so after you use 3 negates, you could bounce back Dark Fluid with Firewall, then re-link summon him for 3 more negates.
Remember when people used to play Code of Soul with Malice? Remember like people were like, yeah, Terahertz said like Cybers drew a save word. That is what dreamed. It was crazy. That was such a funny Alice's life. They were just like, yeah, fuck my expected utility. We're making it the world's worst game pass.
Oh man, just think how good that would be if you were guaranteed to get to the entire Dark Fluid line every turn and somehow your opponent could play through 6 negates but not 9. That's crazy! Kevin has a great one. In Furhire Runic Sprite, if I open Furhire and Sprite and everything resolves, I can gigantic summon Click and Echo to get full hand knowledge and then pop it turn 1 to draw 3 off Folgo. That's actually incredibly smart. And I'm sure it happens pretty frequently, too. Also, is it Folgo at 3? Oh, okay.
It's so funny how, no matter how much time passes, the only deck coder will ever fucking is the fucking Runic Sprite. Runic for 100 Sprite. The most boring deck of all time. I cannot play through it.
Okay, you have to make the Folgo before you resolve the
Actually, there's no argument. Runic Sprite is fucking boring.
I was on a build of Rescue Ace that went into this bastard, but I had to make Turbulence first.
It is also pathetically weak.
I was winning. The idea was he could engineer a scenario where I don't lose to evenly, but I don't actually remember how.
Barring
this was a classic piece of Rescue Ace.
Malice being in the format,
really good at spamming generic
it just doesn't do anything.
Really bad at having anything to do with that generic link material. Classically,
Runic Fountain can't do anything for you, man.
Turbulence against infinite impermanence. By the time SP came out, they just pivoted to that.
Draw power is only as good as the cards you have the potential to draw.
Save worms, that you wouldn't stay even. I will say this differs from a lot of cards on this list because it does have utility. But this is Cyber Dragon. Limited Removal is one of the greatest win more cards of all time, but you don't understand. In my OTK deck that puts out 10 trillion damage, what if I put out 20 trillion damage? People have been doing this about Limited Removal since its first print. I remember people playing gadgets with this. I remember people playing literally anything that has a machine in it. They were like,
oh my god. This like unlocked a core memory at like an NBT Challenger Cup. Like years ago, like Quarantine Cups, but my first top from that ever, I think it was Invoked Uberon. I think I saw the deck list somewhere. This was like a fucked up evil machination. You know, like that image of like the evil like hamburger helper? Oh yeah, this was it. This is what dreams were made of. A bunch of fucking mech knights for whatever. Uberon wall. Fucking Uberon Network. Oh my god, it was beautiful. Triple Cosmic Main. I was really scared of Mystic Mine. Mystic Mine was legal. Yeah, Neos Fusion. Luxury Gaming gave me money to play this.
I can't imagine that must have been fun.
Oh my god, you taught me Zexal for when you went first? What was it? I think like back then, I think like before I ended up on like this version, I think I cut like the Dark Rulers and like the Sanctum stuff, and I think I put like some shit. It was like
there's no way to search limiter removal, was there?
Limiter removal. It was like triple lava ball and triple limiter removal on the side for like games 2 and
limiter's like the most unsearchable
Once you
piece of
board my
garbage ever.
caravan, there's no turning back.
This is like lost history. Do not ever play a new one. We should bring like F-Zero then. That card was sick.
Like, why can't we just limit or removal my 1-up Jinzo? I'll draw them at the same time. And he doesn't even negate it. This is the type of thing I'm also talking about. So Numbers Last Hope is not terrible in a Galaxy Eyes deck. It's the 4th best spell trap in Galaxy Eyes. And Galaxy Eyes searches 2 to 3 times. So you should play it as a 1-up in case you draw 2 spells that win you the game on the spot, and want to search a 4th one. There was a moment when you could add more 1-ups to end with a great Shogun Shingen on the field at the end of an Infernoble combo, which was interesting and practical.
For your
made the deck,
succor,
which already
my
was
noble
written even
champion.
more so, and it also did die to 1 Impermer Droplet. That's a classic example of, like, my combo end board that ends on 9 negates could end on 10 negates if I play 2 more Garnets. Is that going to change the outcome of the duel? No. Your deck can put out any generic extra deck slot end board piece and main deck floodgate like Dyna or Secret Village or even FTK. Valon's original boss monster rarely saw any play, requiring you to play 4 bricks to fusion summon it for a decent effect at best.
It is crazy how Valence is just the 2021 equivalent of like Ignites. Like, tell me, what is the difference between an Ignite FTK endboard versus like a Valiance endboard? It's really limited. There's literally nothing.
It's really unfortunate that Valons became a holding facility for all manner of stun and FTKs. Their end bosses are cool, but just totally impractical. That said, everyone I know who played Valons played like one of these stupid guys because they were like, well, I feel kind of bad just like Fossil Dynapacacephaloing you. Unfortunately, the greatest Valence card of all time has been banned. I am of course talking about Cyberstein. Neo Daedalus, 100% correct. Having this card in a structured deck when I was a kid and trying to make it work with a regular Daedalus does the same thing, but with more investment. It says, card cannot be normal summoner set, has to be special summoned by triggering a Levy Daedalus. It's an Umi control the graveyard to send all cards in both players' hands and field to the graveyard except this card. Awesome, except the 7-star Daedalus does this without the hand loop already, so you actually don't need to play this terrible brick to do the second half of a combo you could have already done. Shouts out to the errata on this card, by the way. I miss old Neo Daedalus. Straight from the gold Daedalus. Yeah, these are right. Both these cards increase the ceiling of the Memento strategy by a good bit, but they are also bricks you don't want to draw, and if you're going full combo, you don't need these traps to win.
Okay, to be fair, the fact that Memento is still hiding like 5 cards just to be able to like search them in like games is very funny. Like, if you ever want to know what a fucked up side deck looks like, look at like Memento side decks. Like sometimes they'll be playing Fracture Dance, sometimes they'll play Cranium Burst, sometimes they're still mainly Cranium Burst. Sometimes they're like siding Bone Back. What the fuck does this card even do? Summon the big guy. Wow. Moves it up card. I'm not. Oh, also there. I think the funniest thing when I was looking at like time cards was Granosaurus Giga Cannon, which Memento played for a little bit. If I have Memento playing, I mean one deck profile I saw because it was a rank 4, which got destroyed, dealt 1,000 damage to your opponent. Wasn't that hard to trigger Memento. We were also considering, like in Ryzeal, could make this guy 3,000 attack. Show for the duo drive. What the fuck was I thinking back then?
I think this is probably the case now that Memento has become a pretty strong combo strategy. I won't deny that there are some matchups in which it feels good to have a Fracture Dance because otherwise your board doesn't interact with what your opponent's doing in a particularly meaningful way. But I also can't deny that sometimes I draw these cards and I look at them like, why am I playing this fucking thing? If I stick 2 Dark Lords and my opponent has a full board of vanilla monsters that do nothing, I win the game. This shit's crazy, and it looks cool and nice, so maybe they'll just let it resolve. I love the cards that are like, this gets a powerful effect based on how many monsters your opponent has. So rather than trying to equalize the board state and then summon it into a simplified board state, you're incentivized to try and force it early, but that will never happen. This card has text on it. Okay. Oh. This is one that a lot of people are probably going to take issue with because it's currently very popular as an immediate upgrade to the 3x structure Blue Eyes deck, but unfortunately, I probably have to agree with this. I think so. Synchro Rumble. It's searchable off of Crimson Dragon, but as they say, if you're in a world where you got to your Synchro of choice and a Crimson Dragon, the game is over. It will only make you cry harder if you say end of main and get Nibiru. This guy in Plant Link, this guy has shown up in so many bad Plant Link decks. No, you don't understand at the end of the combo, I can also make a Cactus Bouncer, which prevents either player from special summoning monsters. This is super...
Remember when, like, I don't know this 100%, but, like, when, I think, like, Robinson, she was playing this in, like, that European, like, I don't know, it was, like, her and, like, Brandon in the finals. And then, like, there was, like, this whole draw. I was in Paris at the time. Who was in Paris? I was, like, watching that on my phone as, like, Rosalind at like the world's shittiest restaurant.
Okay, there you go.
Paris
Jesus Christ.
sucked. I think even Ross and I went to every possible thing she wanted to do. I don't think her like outlook on Paris overall would have changed. She would have been like, yeah, this shit still sucked, even if we did go to like one extra art museum. It's like, well, that was the thing. Because like after 3 days in Paris, everything looks the same. Where it's like every shitty half of it is traffic. cafe is the same. Every bistro looks the same. Every tourist attraction is a fucking scam. Shout out to the Eiffel Tower with 5,000 street hustlers outside. Shout out to the governor. She was very nice. But yeah, it was Jess and Brandon in the finals, and Jess lost the dice roll, and then it was game one, Brandon summons fucking gimmick puppet lock. Game two, Jess summons cactus bouncer +4 to game. Game three, Brandon summons the gimmick puppet. I was what is this shit? This is a horrible game.
Irrelevant on my board of 1 trillion negates in 15
Excuse
different
me,
places.
what?
Some of them are monster negates, some of them are spell trap negates, and they're all located both in the graveyard and the back row and the field and the hand, so you can't deal with it anyway. God, this was a classic. I wanted to play this card so bad, but unfortunately, if you ever get into a position where you have 3 banished Elixir spell traps or 3 banished golden land spell traps, you've already won the game. Importantly, it also requires you to play ones with different names, so to even enable this card, you had to play one copy of Guardian or a copy of the black and the white Elixir. Rough stuff. Those are his golden cocks. Hey, thanks for that post. That was really helpful. Alright, Noel posting about Christina Fork-founded kitchen, but Tainted is a win more, and it's terrible. You can tribute summon this card by tributing one face-down monster your opponent controls, but if the monster is face down, it's already dealt with. You don't need a kaiju. So
not yet.
yeah, all of these monsters get benefits from your opponent's monsters being face down. But if you want to set up a 14-step smashing round, you can do that as well.
How do I always end up here?
Don't tell me this. Yes. Link to Valmonica monster is unfortunately one of these. Zeb is already an insane boss monster. It's pretty rare you can get her out alongside Zeb. On paper, she reads so good. But in practice, it's yeah, it's just not gonna happen. In decks where this card features, it is usually capital T, D, capital G gameplay. But every deck in which that is the case already has a better gameplay. I do see a lot of Raid Raptor players edging out individual cards in a super tight extra, being no, you don't understand. What if I, am able to Kali Yuga and skip their turn? And it's yeah, that's just not remotely good. Not to echo...
Shoutouts to Luna, Chick Tiger. Oh, Kali Yuga. I remember the first time I think it's one of my friends, Andrew. He was on Pocket Dragon. But game 1, Kali Yuga locked it. Plus 3 back row and the Lunalite board. And then game 2, he did the dragon, the dragon FCK. And then game sat across from each other because we both locked Turbo Brick because I was playing Kali.
Just one
She
character?
was playing Dragon FTK until
Wait, no, I already have her. I already have her.
Broken card.
Oh no, Emily and Kachina.
I mean, it is.
The old Dimax phrase, but stop making worse Centurion. Arguably, everything past Speeder is already win more in Synchron, considering the Stratus hope they scoop when I Speeder. I think these are the most obvious ones. The Synchron deck that's just on I am going to resolve Speeder or I am going to lose is a totally fraudulent build because it is so
What the
mired
fuck?
in win more cards. People are
The first ever 5 cup. This looks like garbage.
And I'm gonna make them all at the same time. It's you can
Why would you play
synchros
this?
That are good. Just make the 3 synchros that are good. No one's beating that. If they had interaction, you'd see it already. It would have happened on the speed.
Or you could draw through your whole deck with set Solemn Judgment or sack cards.
Make 3 synchros that trade for 2 cards apiece of its own. Fear Wing Rider, a great example. Just how cool this card is. It's literally just Fear Wing Dragon Bicycle mode. The shuffling back is nice, but if you have resolved Kite Trick, you do not need to go into this card anymore, and the extra is really tight. Speedroid's extra deck is incredibly it's American real estate. You are not.
There's a keyword for
people that just want to play
whenever you
they
choose
want
stuff
to play
now.
the bike so bad. I think at the end of the day, we can admit that a significant amount of Yu-Gi-Oh players are playing a significant amount of cards that do not do anything for their win rate.
Holy shit!
The win more cards I'm playing, which
That
I can
sounds
just
awesome.
play very easily. And
But holy
so
shit,
now.
it's 4 cost.
Good editing, Dyer. Anyways, shout out to the Mitsurugi Trap. That shit is fucking brutal. Gain a Forbidden Droplet with the Mitsurugi Trap. That's just disgusting. That trap card's the only reason to play this. Y'all fucking say it right now. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what your favorite win more card is. Again, shout out to Mitsurugi Trap.
I don't have a team with...
Anyways, bye-bye.
She's the only character that comes to mind right now that also uses the select keyword. Yeah, select. Interesting. Oh my god, burning is back, baby. What does Lumidish Case Level 2 do? Mind explaining? Whoa. Hell yeah, she's awesome.
I'd be honored to accept your invitation.
This wasn't the burning deck I was expecting.
I can't wait any longer!
An arm and a head, normally playing this deck costs you an arm and a leg, but today it's costing him an arm and a head. Hello, mathematicians, and today we're going to obliterate with math. What do I mean by that? Well, take a look at this card right here. This is the most unstoppable Exodia incarnate, but the problem is, look at this. We have to play a bunch of bricks, and then we have all these different starters we could play, and the ratios that we have to choose from, it's just, we have to pull out our head. It's mind-boggling. In fact, to get the true answers, I even asked the community, and look at this, they couldn't even agree on anything here. I asked more than 600 people here, if you're playing the new Exodia with Millennium cards, how many cards do you want to run in your deck? 40, 50, or 60, right? Do you want to run like 60 to drown out those bricks? Or do you want to run 40 for better consistency odds? Well, I did the homework for you, so we're going to dive into that today, but real quick, let's take a look at how many bricks just there are in the Exodia deck too. Look at this. Ew, so many bricks here. Mario is en route to location because he loves all these bricks so he can get all the coins out of these cards here, right? Let's look, you can play 2 of the traps. Pretty much everyone plays 2 of the traps. So that's 7 bricks right there. And then all the different starters, you could play up to 3 of these each, right? 3, 6, 9, 10, 12, 18 right there. And then even if you want to play as terraforming in some things, that's like 19. Some formats it's banned, so you could replace that with like a small world, or even over here you could replace that dragon with a Melody of Awakening to search the dragon. So you could have anywhere from an upwards from anywhere as low as like 12 starters, even like 10 starters if you want, all the way up to like something like 25 starters. That's a lot. And really, when we're talking about math and stuff, I want to break it down, and I want to see what other formats are doing, right? So let's look at Master Duel here. Their average deck size when it comes to this Exodia thing is 46 cards. The TCG is running it at about 43 card deck size, while the OCG likes them a bit bigger, you know what I'm saying? They're running it at 45 cards. They're like a little bit bigger than the TCG, and in fact, actually, Master Duel likes it nice and big the most, you know what I'm saying? They like that big old dance. Anyways, going enough of that. Let's see more things on how people are having success with it, because it's okay good for the average player to run it, but what are people having success with? Look at this.
Why?
This was a top 100.
Why does Noel have 12 HP?
A top 100 is very hard to do, especially the Duelist Cup. Look at this. This guy got top 100, running 46 cards. Don't know his name, but very appreciative of you for giving us that deck list. Then we got a Lorenzo Jose Perez. Here is the last name Perez, so you know I gotta showcase him. Got first place in Hollywood October 2024 Regional with 150 players. No joke, that's pretty hard to do. He was using this card right here, which is deadly. A lot of stun cards here, so that's pretty deadly. But he was running a 40 card deck. He's running a 40 card deck, and then finally, look at this. This guy's our 60 deck card here. He got some win streaks or something. I kind of stretched it out because he had like something to say here. He's using a lot of interesting tech cards. He's mentioning Iron Dragon, Tiamat, or something like that. So I'll leave it up to you to read. But he's using these like very interesting tech cards. So if you want to check that out, but look, he's having success in Master Duel using a 60 card deck. So look at that. We've got people using all different kinds of mathematical deck numbers. And guess what? I did the homework for you guys right now. Let's look at these decks, analyze it with the homework, baby. Yeah, so you don't have to. I'm going to do the homework for you because I like to do this kind of stuff. Let's see here. How are we going to analyze these graphs? And ooh, I've got my friend here, my deadly cat in the background too, to do the homework with us. Anyways, so this is the first place TCG guy, right? This is the Perez deck here. This is the Duelist Cup top 100 guy. And this is the Giga Chad Tech deck here, the guy with the win streak, the Tiamatan deck guy. And you can see here just how different the map is. Like that. Oh yes,
The lantern.
Good job.
My
Yes,
mistake.
it'd be catastrophic if I didn't do that math for him. Get it? Catastrophic. Anyways, it'd be a catastrophe if I didn't do this math. Anyways, let's look at these categories. So the size here is the different sizes of the decks, right? We had a 40 card deck, a 46 card deck, and a 60 card deck, right? They all chose to ran 7 bricks, and they ran different number of starters. I counted the different starters that they were running. So the guy with the TCG player is having a 40 card deck, has a 64% chance to see 1 brick in his deck. What I mean by the bricks, again, that's the limbs or any of the traps, right? The 5 limbs and the 2 traps. So he's got a 64% chance to see one of those, a 20% chance to see 2 limbs, or like a limb and a trap, something like that, right? You're gonna see, it's gonna cost you an arm and a leg 20% times to see this, literally, because you're gonna see the arm and a leg 20% times. And then even 3% of your games, you're gonna see 3 of them, like, ooh, 3 limbs, not that good to see. But for as much as he's been seeing all of these bricks, remember, he had great success. 95% chance to see a starter, which is very high. In fact, borderline on hyper-consistency. I don't really like hyper-consistency, but a very interesting thing about these decks is that they, pretty much all of the Exodia cards that were starters are also extenders. So by that very effect, if you Axe Blossom one of the cards, well, the second one comes into effect here. So that's why 72% consistency after one of your cards has been axed is actually pretty good, and I can see why he got first place. The Lorenzo Jose Perez, good job, because this is one of the few times maybe I could advocate for that level of consistency, especially since everybody and their mothers is running Ash Blossom and Imperm, Droll, all of these deadly cards to stop what you want to do. But Droll, by the way, would actually ruin your consistency if you're trying to go into like a snowballing thing, right, and bait stuff. So be wary of that. So maybe sometimes, again, it's not good. So again, you have to weigh, depending on the hand traps being used. Our top 100 guy, again, here, will only see his brick 58% of the time. Oh, we'll see 1 of them. 16% chance he'll see 2. And 2% of the time he'll see 3. By the way, 0%, you know, said 0%. I rounded everything to no decimals because I don't want to be like 3.14159, right? Like giving you all these decimals. I just want to make it easy on the eyes. I have bad vision as it is. So let's make it nice and easy on you guys for the eyes. So I didn't round to any decimals, but it's probably like 0.021, whatever. Just know this got rounded to the nearest number here. Finding the starters here. Interesting to note too, the 46 card guy used 14 starters, while the 60 card guy used 18 starters.
I'm sorry.
And this guy used 17 starters. So even though he had more cards, he used less starters than the 40 card guy, which I thought interesting because he wants to see 85% consistency. He's in this top duel of GC Cups. He's going to see so many games per second. He wants to go fast. He wants to see consistency. He wants to know
I
if he either wins or
lose.
loses.
You clearly
I like
have the
that.
edge over me here.
Because he needs to play a lot of games. And again, here are his numbers too. And if he gets negated on one thing, he's still got a 50% chance to have 2 starters, which is pretty good. And then our Giga Chat here, look at this. He maintains almost the same level of consistency while reducing his brick chances. That's the power of Pine Saw, baby. That's the power of using a 60 card deck. He'll see his bricks less. But what's very important too, you gotta see this, even though his numbers now, look, he's got the same number of starters, right? Very, very good. I love that. And he reduced his bricks. He drowned out his bricks. I love that. We have to consider that he will be seeing his other, he pile on his deck, all of his tech cards. He's seeing these weird techs now. He's seeing that Tiamatan, that, Contact C, all of those weird stuffs that he was playing, whatever else that was in there, I saw some crazy stuff. And this guy was seeing more interesting stuff. He was seeing more of like the deadly traps, like I think there can only be one, or like the rivalry of warlords, whatever kind of like stun things he was saying, the dimension shifter, he's seeing those more often than the Giga Chad Tacky guy would. So that's something to keep in mind of when you're making the 60 card deck. You have to make sure that the level of power is about the same. You know what I'm saying? That those
I'd like to know what Let It Rip
are still
does.
equal in weight, the power to the other cards. So that's also something to talk about.
Oh,
and
damn.
just to realize when we're making these decks. Now, I kind of did something here. Maybe outdid myself here. I did something. I put these 3 really cool charts and graphs I really need to talk about when we're talking about
Maybe
these
Mono
kinds of
Geo
things.
and
So,
Katrina is the way to go.
I'll do
I
my
made it
best.
so I could blue skidoo into whatever one of these.
I could
graphs
also
I wanna
replace
do. So
Yunjin,
if
because
I want to go
Yunjin
into this one, I just click it up here, and then
Yunjin
if I
just
wanted to
doesn't
go
do
into
it
the
for him.
bottom one, I would just click the bottom
With
one
Noel.
down here, right? And I would blue skidoo into that one. So that's pretty cool that I made that to do that. So we're going to be going into those real quick. But before I go into those graphs, I do want to say, if you like numbers and talking about graphs and math and real cool stuff like that, just give this video a sub, or come join the Discord. If you're already subscribed, come join the Discord.
Sure,
Or at
why
the
not?
very
I'll
least,
play with
just
this.
like this video if you like math and stats. Helps the
Just
algorithm go
nice
a
here.
long way, and I love algorithms. And by the way, I do have a Twitch now where you can come see me streaming. Very rarely do I stream. Maybe I'll get to a schedule soon. But right now, it's like finding a legendary Pokemon, like a shiny Pokemon, even if you see me streaming. So come join the channels and come check that out. Now, which one of these should we blue skidoo into first? I don't think there's any wrong order to go into. I think they all have something valuable to say. So let's jump right into the top one there. Let's look at the 40 versus 60 card starter consistencies. This is always very important to know, especially because we're running so many starters and stuff between the different decks. So what is this? What is this chart really trying to show me here? Well, this represents your consistency if you're running a 60 card deck, and this is representing a consistency if you're running a 40 card stack. And one of the biggest misconceptions is that a 40 card deck is more consistent than a 60 card deck. But remember, that guy was able to achieve, our Giga Chad was able to achieve the same number of consistency that the 46 card guy had. And what do you mean by that? How can you do that? Well, let's take a number here on the graph, right? Let's say if you want to achieve this level of consistency, right? A little bit above 80%, 85% consistency. Right? Just that line all the way over here so that the graph matches, right? So if you want to achieve that, you have to run 20 cards in a 60 card deck to achieve that level of consistency.
Right here.
While in a 40 card deck, you only need to run 13 cards of starters like that. So
Switched
again,
out immediately,
13
what the
cards
fuck?
will give you 87.73% consistency, while 20 cards will give you 87.95% consistency. So you just do that and match up the consistencies if you're trying to find a specific level of consistency. A 40 card deck is not more consistent than a 60 card deck if a 60 card deck adds in more starters. That's the biggest misconception I always hear, is that 40 cards is more consistent than 60 cards. I don't like that. Let's just get out of that misconception. Anyways, well, let's blue skidoo into this one now, right here in the middle. let's talk about the odds to draw a Garnet and Brick when we're going first. And why is this so important, especially for the Exodia deck? Again, the line here will represent a 40-card deck, and this orange line will represent a 60-card deck, right? Because we're less likely to see our Garnets in a 60-card deck, right? 8.3% chance to see one, or the 12.5 to see one copy at a 40-card deck, right? So the Exodia card deck, look at that. Remember, that guy had a 64% chance, because I rounded up, right? I got rounded to the nearest whole number. 64% chance to see it in the 40-card deck, and the 60-card deck guy only had a 48% or 47% chance to see it, right? If we go back to those numbers, right? So again, very, very crucial. And then the other guy had somewhere in the middle here. Very crucial to know your Garnet and Brick odds to see how much you're seeing that. Because again, right, let's just, again, go back here, right? The guy had a 47% chance to see that brick compared to the other guy that had a 64% chance to see the brick. So you can see there that the numbers are consistent, baby. That's what I like to see. Consistent numbers. Speaking of consistency, I was talking about this. 95%. The hyper consistency can be a bad thing. Normally it is, I would say, especially if you're running a lot of deck with a lot of normal summons and not that many extenders. But hey, let's just talk about that in the context of this, right? Hyper consistency is normally a bad thing. But for here, I didn't really think it was such a bad thing. But let's just say you're running a deck with a bunch of normal summons, right? You're running 22 cards that can normal summon, or even a searcher that can search normal summon, something like that. You're running so many consistencies where you're having like a 99% consistency, so you have 23 starters. Well, you could chew a lot of those away. All of those could have been different tech cards. That could have been your Tiamatron, or there could only be one, or Dimension Shifter, or whatever kind of cards you're running, your Maxis, because they could be hand traps, they could be board breakers, they could be Regekis, you know what I'm saying? They could be however your style is, control.
I will protect you.
Your control cards, you know, the Bestials, right? Like the Bestial Regained and all that stuff, and all the fun stuff.
Watch out!
We're talking about these cards here, though. All of them are pretty much, since they go in the back row, these cards, the Millennium cards, do go in the back row. Very, very interesting. They have that effect. All of the cards are extenders, and they search, and I think that's very important when we're talking about this kind of stuff. So for here, I think the high level consistency is fine, since if you get asked or something, it can work. But normally, if you're running a deck, you don't want that, because look at these lines here. They're going to go, and they start getting smaller and smaller. That's called diminishing returns. I've talked about that in the past. And the less diminishing return, the less of a return you get, remember, the more of the chance that could be something like a starter, something like that. So I do recommend trying to hover probably around an 85% chance to see your starters, and maybe a bit more if they are, if it's very, very hand trap heavy format and you just have everything else that's like these special summons that can come out. That's why right now the Snake Eyes, White Forest, Tia Bellstore slot package is so strong, because they can play through so many different disruptions while maintaining a very high level of consistency. So that's something to pretty much look out for now. And the hyper consistency, although I said it was bad in the past, and I still do think it is, that's because people were really relying on one line. But if you rely on a bunch of different lines, the hyper consistency doesn't end up being as bad as it once was. So I will retract a little bit on the hyper consistency as bad that I said it was in the past, because remember, as times change and the cards change, so the math does change. So anyways, I have now some case study stuff. Let's go into some example deck lists presented by some of our Discord community. They got some good stuff here. Alright, hello. We've got FTK Adam going first. FTK Adam, a person in our Discord, getting max seeds starting out. I asked our Discord players to see if they can give me some Exodia replays, because I don't really use the Exodia deck, because again, a lot of them use the stun variants, and that's not really my style. So I don't really like playing that kind of stuff. but I did reach out for some help, and FTK Adam here is going to help us today. He's playing a, let's see what's going on here. He's got a 38, 39, 40, 1 for 2 for 3, 44, 45 card deck, right? So he's choosing to do a number that's not even part of it, right? Silly rabbit tricks are for kids. He's using a number that I didn't calculate. So he did manage to get an arm and a head. You know, normally playing this deck costs you an arm and a leg, but today it's costing him an arm and a head, 2 bricks, gets to the Millennium Ankh, right? Gonna use that Exodia Incarnate to get himself back, and oh no, the little rabbit has to go back to the hand too, because, or back to the deck, because when Exodia comes out, only Exodia cards are allowed to be on the field, or the Legend cards, so for as far as monsters are concerned, so those are gonna go back, and now we're going to get the Fires of Rage, Exile Fires of Rage, allowing us to do a little bit here, but we're up against how many cards here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards. That's absolutely devastating, and I don't know why we're not triggering the Azeroth now. Maybe we should trigger that now, and also, if we're going to use Maxi, we should just use Maxi nowadays, I would say, in the standby phase, or even the draw phase, because of cards like Cashier Fender, Diabellstar, and look at this, speaking of Diabellstar, he's going to add a Diabellstar card, so he is on the Diabellstar package. So I would just consider using Max Seed right away. Also, you could tell if your opponent's going to do a Max Seed, then you could chain your Max Seed to his Max Seed. I'm surprised he didn't have an Ash Blossom with all these cards in his hand for this Max Seed. But anyways, so now a little bit of equilibrium here, a little mouse coming out here, a little Squeak Knight. This guy's going to do some damage, I bet. This guy looks devastating. Is that a mouse trap he's got for a shield? That's pretty cute. Anyways, what's not cute is our opponent is also here using Makanko cards. Makanko, pretty deadly, known for FTKing you as well, or coming back from the back burner. Also using Droll and Lockbird. He says, I've had enough of you gaining cards. Speaking of gaining cards, FTK Adams already got 3 Exodia cards and popping this whole field with the Exiled Fires of Rage. Exiled Fires of Rage, of course, being known for just greatly popping all of the cards on the field, so that's a good use right there. And also negating a card here, we get to negate 1 spell and trap for turn if we do use that. Now here comes the Diabellstar Black Witch, definitely going to use the Azeroth for that. That's a great use of Azeroth there. Get rid of that, and all of a sudden our opponent who had 9 cards is all of a sudden down to 1. So this Exodia deck putting in a lot of work, getting in a lot of value where value was given, going into the battle phase. Good job not activating your effect to 8,000 attack, because that would have just killed yourself, but you are going to get spun back to the backfield, back to the deck, he says. Away with you, sir. And wow, we've got a lot of Exodia cards in the hand here. That's pretty good. Shield of the Millennium, of course, will pay 2,000 life points to get the Ankh back, baby. Ankh time, because that means he's going to come right back. And these 2 cards are going to get Doomed Dragon. Doomed Dragon is an excellent tech, I think, that Exodia players put in these Exodia decks, because they have so much cards in the backfield, allowing you to push your opponent's card in the backfield. You know what I'm saying? Push it back. Now it's going to stay. It's a continuous spell. That's a fate worse than death, because now it's just looking at you in stone. It's staring at you in stone. And now we're going to reveal the 3 Exodia pieces, right? And here we go. Revealing the 3 Exodia pieces, getting back that it's unstoppable Incarnate. Unfortunately, the Doom Dragon's going to have to go back, but maybe, unlike the Rabbit going back, I don't mind the Doom Dragon going back, because you can just summon it back out again. Boom, baby. 6,000 to the face. That's a lot to take to the face. I don't like taking 6,000 damage to the face anytime. And here's really what's really cool is Exile Fires of Rage allows you to get an Exodia piece. Now, even though he's playing 45 cards, he's managed to get 4 pieces of Exodia now into his hand.
It'd be funny on
if
my
he
feed
can't
tweet.
stack this one
On
last
my
Exile of Rage and activate it, that will get him
package that I enjoy
the 5th and final piece of Exodia.
playing with.
So that's really absolutely cool. Now, what's crazy is now our opponent is only on 2 cards. He couldn't do it with 9 cards. I doubt he could do it with 2 cards. He draws Bonfire off the top, because
Not
this
that
is 1 card. It's
complicated.
still going to be 1 card. And actually,
But with a team like that, you're not
going
gonna win anything.
Give up here. I get slightly saddened, because I was hoping to see the win with the Exiled Fires of Rage, gathering all 5 pieces of Exodia. So in a way, I feel like the little kid that's like, what do you want to be grow up? And I'm like, ooh, I want to be an NFL player. But then I realized I am only like 5'8", and I will never be an NFL player, right? Because my stature wasn't built tall enough. So the teacher crushing my dream. Here, DK Adam crushed my dream a little bit, because I thought we were going to see, or maybe Lynn crushed my dream, because he gave up too soon. I wanted to see that 5th and final piece of Exodia added to the hand. But great replay nonetheless. Thank you, FTK Adam, for that. And he's got one more to show me, too. Alright, Adam's going first now. And here's what's interesting. Here's why I don't really like to play this deck. We're going to see the other parts of the package he was running. He's running some kind of stun card, some kind of stun variant. Ew. And I don't like helping out stun players, but this is I'm gonna commentate it anyways, because you know, again, this is what most of the Millennium players are using. They are running this stun package here, so you know what I'm saying. The deal's on math. I love to do math, so let's do the math on this stuff. And here comes Silhouette Rabbit again, poking his head out. Silly Rabbit, tricks are for kids, gonna get that Azeroth statue, and here we go.
Let's get this show on the road.
Wait, does Noelle actually just start on 12 HP by default now?
There's just some little things that maybe
Excuse me?
the Diamond players,
I didn't notice.
I think the order of operations here was just a little messed up. He plays the Dimensional Fisher first, and I hate to help out stun players, but you know, he's in the Discord, so he gets help. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to help my Discord members, so if you're a stun player, come on through Discord, I'll help you out. And he then used Heart of the Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes, this Blue Eyes card has
this just gives 3 shield now? Fixed? Flat?
Good artwork, Blue
No condition, no nothing?
In your graveyard, and
That's actually amazing.
If your opponent summons a monster that's level 8 or higher, you get to send that to the graveyard and special summon this card. I really think that because you played your Dimensional Fisher too early, right? You got excited, played that in, without realizing the future that you're going to end up having this card. You now, unfortunately, had to send this card to the Banish Zone, so that's a mistake, I think so here, because now we have a second Millennium Opt, and we lose an interruption that way, right? Where you could have played Dimensional Fisher at the end of your turn. So anyways, we are still going to get the Unstoppable Exodia Incarnate here, and our Rabbit's going to go back to the little hat, right? Rabbit goes back to the hat.
I should have used the other one right away then.
Angel Statue of Azeroth. We saw how much work it did last time. It puts in good work. And now here's something interesting. Because we're playing the anti-spell fragrance, we have to set the opt. Just in case they outer board and we need to do that, meaning we can't set the super polymerization right now, unfortunately, because we want that space to go to the next on Fires of Rage.
Looks like they decided to overhaul a lot of the Geo stuff for some reason.
Fragrance in the standby phase. I think you should chain this Angel Statue of Azeroth right now too as well, because a lot of people will special summon some devastating cards. They'll special summon Kashtira Fenrir. They'll special summon Diabellstar. A lot of these cards, and Kashtira Fenrir can definitely get rid of some of these cards. So you definitely want to be able to get rid of that, especially because you don't want to waste your Exile Fires of Rage or something on that, getting rid of some baits or something. But we are going against Yubel here, it looks like. Yubel has these kind of cards here, and now we're going to use the Angel Statue of Azeroth. He already knew what this Azeroth statue was, so I don't see why we're holding on to that. Can we only do that in the main phase or something? No, I'm reading the card now. It doesn't look like we're forced to summon the main phase. I think you should just immediately use that. Because, yeah, definitely. And now he's going to go into Salamander Unicorn with his Proud Horn. And, oh, we're going to use Azeroth on this. I don't think that's the right move, because normally when you go into the Almirage here, they're going into SP Little Knight. Wait for them to go into SP Little Knight, because, again, they cannot activate the effects if you go into the SP Little Knight, because you're immediately getting it off the field. It doesn't technically hit the field yet, right? It says, again, when your opponent would special summon a monster and this card is in your monster zone, send it to the graveyard. When they would special summon a monster, so that means you negate the summon. The SP Little Knight wouldn't be out on the field yet for him to do any of the double effects. So you don't have to waste it on the Almirage here. In fact, because look at this, now he's going to probably chain and go into a Phantom of Yubel. Phantom of Yubel is another card that you probably like to see the Azeroth wasted on. These cards are going into the Banish Zone too. So seeing another card going into the Banish Zone would have been nice here, because look, he will get that Phantom of Yubel. So if he has any other follow-up cards, that would be absolutely devastating. But you do have a lock on him with that thing, and of course he's going to have to tap out. But just those little bit of mistakes here, I think would have been is really good to know there. And also, I think he made a mistake there too, since he had the Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel does get to come out during the battle phase,
As you
allowing
wish.
him to set his cards. That could have like set him up for next turn, but you know what? I think it didn't matter either way. I think he was screwed because the lock is just too good here. You have such a deadly tight grip on him. I don't think he could have escaped your strangle.
Leave it all to
That
me.
strangle that you're giving him.
I'll
Not
be
the kind of
back.
strangles I like because you're giving him a stun strangle. You're like really choking him out. I like to do a little grind game struggle. You're going into a knockout, just sucking the soul out of his body immediately. Where I like to suck it little by little, the soul out of his body. But either way, his connection failed, so that's enough for him to pull the plug on this deck. This deck is a very plug-pulling deck. FTK Adam, thank you for sharing us with your deck again. Even though it's not my cup of tea, I think your tea is a nice brew. You are brewing something good there. Not my cup of tea, but I'm glad you enjoy it and having a good time. Especially defeating a Yu-Gi-Oh player, always good to defeat them.
Go!
There you go. We're balling from here on out. I think I'm gonna lose.
Just sharpen my spear.
Beautiful. A sacrifice is needed.
Try this on for size.
This is just how the deck is if we're unable to get our equips.
Dinner's gonna burn.
As you wish. Leave it all to me.
No. Not like this.
Go, Baron Bunny! As a dutiful maid would. I am a disgrace to the knights. Let's get this show on the road.
That's Jover. I don't think Ellen's good.
Just sharpen my spear.
Wow, talk about overcompensating.
Boba, get them!
Alright, so in the past, I might have done a couple Cuphead challenges. Okay, I've done a lot. So many, in fact, that for a while I was pretty sure I had done every single challenge out there, until I discovered this mod, the Demolition Cheats. On the surface, this mod is just a mod menu. It lets you have infinite HP, kill bosses in one hit, and, that. But within this mod lies a feature that allows you to load a second scene. Basically, we can load a level over top of another one. See where my bad idea is going? In today's video, we are going to be beating Cuphead on Expert Mode, but every single boss is double. 2 of the same bosses at the exact same time. Before we can get this challenge started,
this show on the
however, we
road.
first need to figure out what the rules for this challenge will be. Rule number 1, we must begin the challenge on a new save file. We have to start just like any other playthrough, however, we're gonna use the
Jesus
expert
Christ,
mode glitch to unlock expert mode
that was a
early.
lot.
Rule number 2, we must
What the
200% complete the game. 200% requires us to beat every single boss on expert difficulty, beat all 3 mausoleums, and collect every single coin from every level, NPC quest, and secret coin spot. Simply put, it's almost everything apart from the DLC, although we are still allowed to use DLC items. If you're wondering why, it's because I was planning on doing the DLC until I realized the challenge just completely ruins everything and breaks half the bosses. Rule number 3, every boss must be doubled. I know, shocker, we have to do the challenge. That on its own does sound like a difficult challenge, but it doesn't sound hard enough. So for rule number 4, we must beat every single boss with a minimum of an A- rank.
And step.
That means if we don't beat the boss with an A-, A, or S rank, then we have to redo the boss, until we get a good enough rank.
Flag
That sounds
fly.
good enough. Also, before this video begins, if you want to see the full fights for every boss we faced in this video, you can watch them on my second channel, Chicken Ninja 43, or click the link in the description. And with all of that said, it's time for me to return to hell and 200% Cuphead, but every single boss is double.
Shit.
Starting off the challenge, obviously the first thing we're gonna do is the tutorial. Okay, that's not gonna work. Yeah, unfortunately, with a challenge like this, things just break, and there's nothing we can do about it. Rather than doubling it, we're just gonna do it normally.
Tragedy.
Rather than doubling it, we're just... Okay, either I've just had a lobotomy, or I'm a game journalist. After
I will
speedrunning the
protect you.
tutorial, we talk to Mac to get the 3 bonus coins, and head over to the first 2 levels, Forest Follies and Treetop Trouble. Unfortunately, these 2 levels and all the other running guns in the game get absolutely nuked when they're doubled, so we're just gonna have to do them normally as well. Oh yeah, buckle up for this challenge, we're just playing the regular game. Of course, I'm just kidding. We get our first taste of this challenge in the first mausoleum. Loading into the mausoleum, you'll
I must
probably
leave no
notice
stone
3
unturned.
things. There's a
I'll
lot
be
of
back.
ghosts, the camera is extremely zoomed in, and where the f is my health? For some reason, the double scene overlay makes about 20% of my screen unviewable for every fight in this challenge, but I also can't see my health nor my super meter. Despite all of that, this is just the first mausoleum with a couple more ghosts. With Mausoleum 1 completed, we are able to access the DLC island through talking with the boatman. On Inkwell Isle 4, we get the Miss Chalice charm and pick up the Chalice tutorial coin, Buckley's 3 coins, and the secret coin. With my now vast wealth, we are going to purchase our first few weapons, the Crackshot, Roundabout, and Spread Shot. The Crackshot choice I don't even think I need to explain. It has aimbot, does more damage than the Chaser, and its EX move gives us extra mobility when combined with Miss Chalice's dash parry. The Roundabout is also just another good shot. It has a decent DPS, and since it can round about, it's easy to cover the screen in projectiles to hopefully deal damage. Finally, the Spread Shot. It has the highest DPS in the entire game. That's all I have to say. With all of that preparation done, we can now begin fighting bosses, starting with Potato. The Root Pack in Expert Mode has a total of 1,300 HP, technically now it would be 2,600, and their fight consists of 3 phases, Sal, Ollie, and Chauncey. The fight begins with the Potato Sal, who we absolutely mash up with the Spread Shot.
As a
Following
doable
that,
man
he
would.
wants to move over to the middle of the screen, as that's where Ollie spawns, and when he does, he wants to immediately fire our Super Art. This is so we can deal damage to both of the Ollies at the same time, to avoid one of them entering the secret phase. If you didn't know, not damaging Ollie during his phase transition unlocks the secret phase, which skips phase 2 and makes phase 3 harder by adding more health and spawning a radish that follows us around. Speaking of the final phase, we can get through it no problem with the Spread Shot, and other than an unusual
Kaya
amount
says
of
the key to
carrots,
winning
it wasn't a
every-
big deal.
That's literally
I'm so lucky, dude. I literally
just
picked
how you
them up.
play card games.
Alright, that was really easy. If all the bosses are gonna be like this challenge is gonna be a walk in the park. I've made a big mistake. So Ribby and Croaks are, so guess what? It's time for more preparation. Yay. The first of these preparations is obtaining the second Super Art. Now, if you know how to get Super Art 2, you're probably yelling at me right now. You have to be in Inkwell 2, and we're not there. So to get there, I'm going to go beat every single Inkwell Isle 1 boss on Simple Mode. Now I know, 200%, it's gotta be Expert Mode, but as long as we eventually beat the bosses on Expert, it's allowed. We just have to make sure they are always doubled, even in Simple Mode. With each boss beaten in Simple Mode, we are able to reach the next Isle. Or not. Okay, that's weird. I was pretty sure you could just do that. I guess I'll go redo every boss on normal. What the fuck? The game's broken. Again. This is literally the third time, and we've only done one boss.
Nice and spicy.
How to perform. What the fuck? Okay. There's no coins there! What the fuck? Alright, cool. I did it again, bro. I did it again! Ah! So, if the game's gonna break, I might as well break it in my favor. By sneaking into Inkwell Isle 2, I beat the Jimmy on Simple to gain access to the second Mausoleum, and now
Honestly,
it's
the
time
plus
for
2
your regular
HP
scheduled
isn't
programming.
really gonna do much for
Mausoleum 2
Noelia
is
now.
very similar to the first one. There are a lot of ghosts,
But hey,
not
it
enough
shows
to
they
be
still
aneurysm
care, I
kill me.
guess.
It just isn't great. With the second Super Art added to our inventory, we headed back over to the DLC island to buy our second necessary item, the Convert Shot. I am aware that it sounds like I'm just creating the most useless loadout of all time, but let me explain. First off, Super Art 2. For Cuphead, this super is absolutely dog shit. All it does is grant the player invincibility for a little bit of time. It's no joke the worst one. However, with Miss Chalice equipped, we are given the Shield Pal super. When activated, this super will give the player a shield that absorbs the next hit the player takes. With this super equipped, as long as we are able to fill up our super meter fast enough, we can technically never take damage as we replace the shield every time it gets destroyed. So that one seems pretty good, but what about the other questionable choice, the Convert Shot? Its DPS is average, being extremely similar to the Roundabout Shot, but the best part about it is the projectiles. The Convert Shot bullets do decent damage, but they are capable of piercing, meaning we can hit multiple enemies with the same bullet, aka multiple bosses with the same bullet. Alright, now that we have our chores done, it's time to beat up some frogs.
Let's get this show on the road.
Ribby and Croaks. For this challenge, they have 3,800 HP, and since there's two of them, we're actually fighting 4 bosses at the same time. As soon as the fight starts, we immediately move over to the left wall because they're on the right wall and they're scary. Phase 1 consists of Croaks constantly shooting out fireflies that charge towards the player, and Ribby doing a Street Fighter combo. To deal with this, we can hold down the lock-in button to convert the Convert Shot and deal significantly more damage, as well as get easy kills on the fireflies. Entering Phase 2, this phase is infinitely harder than the last. In this phase, Croaks becomes a fan and pushes the player back, but luckily for us, this is actually good news. Despite 2 of them doing this attack, we only get pushed with the power of 1 fan attack. For some reason, one of them just doesn't work. On the other side of things, literally, we have Ribby. He still does the Street Fighter, but again, we just have to jump and crouch to avoid it. The real problem is his balls. They're extremely difficult to dodge, and with bad enough timing, they can become an impenetrable wall of death that is impossible to dodge. You know what? The more I think about it, this phase completely sucks. Let's skip it. To do this, we deal lots of damage using the Convert Shot up until right before they start their phase transition at 494 damage dealt. Once this happens, we wait for Ribby to begin his Street Fighter attack and then start pouring on the damage again. This allows us to carry over damage and take off most of, if not all, their second phase's HP while still in the first phase. Hell yeah, we're embarrassing these guys. What the fuck is that? Entering the final
As you
phase,
wish.
Brooks eats Ribby, and then they become a slot machine.
Manifest!
Wow. I mean, getting back to our house. Don't. Leave me alone. Unfortunately, entering this phase breaks the game again.
I must
One
leave
pair
no stone
enters phase
unturned.
3, and the other pair stays in
What the
phase 2
fuck did
and becomes
what the
invincible.
fuck did this
Luckily,
team do?
Brooks' fan attack no longer works, but Ribby's hitbox still exists, and he still does both of his attacks. In addition to these two just being there, we still have the slot machine to deal with. To damage the slot machine, we must first dodge some coins and then parry their crank. Feels kinda weird. Parrying the crank makes them damageable, but also results in them doing one of 3 attacks. The snake attack, which spawns chips we need to jump on. The tiger attack, which spawns the same chips, but they also shoot balls in the air. And the bull attack, which spawns floating chips that shoot fire, creating a barrier on either the top or bottom of the
Steady
screen.
as stone.
In the simplest of terms,
My
all this
turn.
phase is using the spread shot,
There.
hoping we don't get hit with an impossible bullshit attack, and also hoping we beat it in under 2 minutes to get an A rating, because I'm obviously going to take damage. Please tell me I did it fast enough. Please, I don't want to do it again.
Time to clean up.
Brain struggling to focus. Building in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like outlet for creativity, mathematics, innovation, logic. However, crafting a well-designed deck is not many duels Dolphins that train them.
Too little, too late.
On decklist nightmares. With your decklist to me, and eat. I'll review 3 abominable decks and attempt to transform Welcome, Decklist Nightmares. This series, Decklist Nightmares, is a play off of Gordon Ramsay's Vision Nightmare. It's a bit on your brain. Not as it's shrunk, but it's disappeared. So, if you guys are worried about getting offended, understand, all for fun. We're past that. I'm full mad. What the hell is this? I will be actually giving you advice. Off the road. Have you ever brought this deck to a tournament? Or you just
Yo, Ganyu's also 12 now.
But that being said, if you want to see more content, actually,
Kokomi is 12.
most of my people that are subscribed here don't know that it's more than I have best highlights.
Each weeb.
Best content there.
Uto?
Weekly. And furthermore, if you would like to see your deck featured on a Decklist Nightmares, play up to these bits with link. Hello. Enjoy the train. Welcome back to another episode of
The narwhal has less health.
Let's see abominable creations you guys can get to today. And how many actual genuine good suggestions? Good idea. Because here in short supply. First up, we've got Oz is the Hero, who submitted Ninja Control Grass Card File. I love when the title of the deck contains 6 different words. That's usually a fantastic sign, and it's awful, because it means they do too much. How does Control, by the way, fit in with Grass? There's a combo decks, but it could be Paleo. Paleo Ninja sounds weird, but maybe it works. Anyways, let's see what the notes are for the deck. This is what they say. This is my current Ninja Pile deck that I've been using over the past year. And I'd say it actually performs well, or at least better than the Metaphor. That's in just a nutshell. I think that is good. Just don't. Okay. First off, you decided not to play hand traps besides Emperor. Sounds like Paleo. If it doesn't really have the gas to play this specific combo deck. Yeah, therefore, play it. Counterintuitive argument, or whatever. But hand traps that only trade 1-for-1 kind of suck. That's not how combo decks work, though. That's not what a combo deck is. Combo decks want to break the engine. So, you don't use hand traps because your engine will power through. You just can't do that because it's not a combo deck. Hand traps make your skills powerful. So a hand trap will work okay, yeah, especially if opponent plays through them. That's why I went for a different approach. Traps. Gimmick Golden Ninja. Golden is fine. This card is currently underrated. No, it's not. Sure, it might be successful, but hand traps. Traps from the hand to the graveyard as a cost. That's insane. Why? Why are you sending graveyard as cost? But don't trigger tier cards. That means if you get Veiler, you lose crap. I don't get why it's an upside. If you get Veiler and you send rollback, that's great. But copy. I don't know. There's no way to roll back. Maybe. Good traps or ninja traps in grave give you a ton of value. No, I don't want to discard my ninja traps. That's not true at all, actually. I actually think I'd rather not discard my ninja traps. Yes. You can break boards, make Baku or Notebook live to generate crazy resources. Baku, what it does, for those who don't know, adds back an energy card when it's on it. If you randomly discard a card for whatever reason, then add it back to your hand. You go +1? Not really. Discarding a card just to get the bonus effect of something else to get it back isn't actually helpful if you have the choice to just not discard it in the first place. At that point, obviously, Trap Golden Ninja is good, but that's not actually a
Well,
good
this
thing.
this thing still fucking sucks.
And the Golden Ninja resolves, it's basically GG. I don't know about that, but okay. Gimmick Grass, number 2. These notes are insane. Grass is insane because it basically does what the Golden Ninja does, but on steroids. That was very informative. Number 3, Gimmick Lady Lab. Oh god, this is funny. Why the Labyrinth cards this thing now? You can help be able to bridge into her natively with the Ninja engine. But with the number of traps next, she's a menace on her own. Playing after hand traps that searches traps, it's just Lady Labyrinth does not work with continuous trap cards. Guess what the Jitsu arts are? Continuous trap cards. What's the synergy? One last thing. Number 4, Gimmick Terrors of the Overroot and Durumi Ken. Okay. Labeled every note of your deck as Gimmick 1 to 4. So really, your entire deck is 4 different gimmicks.
And I remember when flying Cloud Flag formation just naturally increased your normal damage.
Every deck. The practical loop and fetch number release and Lady Trap Trading rollback is nuts. But there is rollback. So you mix Labyrinth and Ninjas, what it sounds like. And because you already had 60 cards, you put in Grass. Boston. Alright, let's take a look at this deck, and... Okay. Well, I'm like retching a bit. What have we gone for here? I see the core of a Ninja deck, and then I see half of a Labyrinth deck, mushed together, almost aimless. I almost don't know where to comment on it, because it seems like you build with intent, but then also got rid of all of it. All sense right out the door. There's a couple of weird things going on here that just don't make sense. Like, okay, let's talk about your Upstart Golden, which requires you to send a trap from your hand to the graveyard, special interest. You have traps for it, but
Not sure how good this ratios are.
This card, I don't even know. It's a Jitsu card, probably. This card, Black Owl Laughs, which is also not even that good of this card because wrong is fine. Good though to discard in the sense that it offsets the cost of it, and roll back. Which makes very little sense in this deck, because it's not like you can roll back or trap trick for this card, your Dancing Leaves, which is the most important Jitsu Art Trap card in your deck. Instead of maxing out the Jitsu Art Traps, you're not even playing Free Duplication, which is very good. It immediately combos with Ninja cards, and it's great for the top on the Upstart Golden Ninja. And it converts into several disruptions. The Tabari and Green Ninja used for Maizen or Yagaramaru, a book and a banish, or a book.
We can get way more value if we use the 2-cost version, I feel.
Only serves as Daruma fodder. And I understand you're taking advantage of the synergy. Dancing Leaves tributing opponents based on monsters. Do that with book cards, like Book of Ruin and Book of Eclipse. Now playing a deck that hyper-focuses on Daruma Cannon instantly loses when it doesn't get access. This is why the Visional Ninja deck just works better. You can actually hold off your opponent's field and play a mid-range game. Deck functions fantastically in image deck because it's self-contained in one of the combos. It's improved in multi-card combos with Tamari, and it gets high value in mid-game with cards like Bison. Dancing. It really fits the mid-range game plan very well. He went for a control game plan that has no synergy, that just clashes each other. And then, even worse off, you packaged it in a 60-card combo style. It doesn't suit this deck remotely. It means you're drawing cards like Hanzo way less often. And Hanzo is insane. Much more upstart Golden Ninja because not as risky in hand traps. Another problem here is your Noble card. It searches Tabari, and that's it. Well, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Oh, wait. It adds Baku in that sense, not Tabari. It adds just Baku, but Baku by itself does nothing. Essentially, has 5 cards that just do nothing by themselves. Baku isn't a good draw. I understand adding it off of Build Bear gives you the ability to summon it immediately. That's not great. It's bad by itself, and it's a mid-level quality extender in conjunction with other stuff. Resources to be better deck down, using your good cards more often, like Notebook, an actual powerful extender. But besides that, if you wanted to go for the route of trap cards, you may as well play more Labyrinth cards. If you want to see Lady Labyrinth, you could just search it. Big Welcome. On top of that, Big Welcome with a synergy with Rollback. And, well, its great effect would mean that it's actually better to draw it. Lady. At that point, why not just play Labyrinth, you may ask? And yeah, that's my
2,
point.
4, 6, 8,
Second half
10.
exists outside of wanting to use Upstart Golden Ninja, getting extremely sidetracked by it, ending up with a mixed match fusion that has no right to exist. I think there's also a big problem here with only playing Ninja Fusion. Those are the best cards. Mind games will often win. Best extra deck is almost irrelevant. You almost never summon these other cards in extra deck. Putting any sort of focus onto a perfect buck crack, it's not worth it. Focus on the actual good cards that you play. Because the other cards will come up incredibly or even if it goes grass, just roll back, it's honestly limited. Oh, I realize there's no green ninja. Also, that's a mistake. It further takes away the ability of ninja cards to act independently. It means now reduce other form of interaction, and you make duplication worse. Which I guess you only play one of, but the card is good. And going second will be a problem. Because the going second strategy is wholly just, I will do Ruma Cannon my opponent's Oblivion. It doesn't work all the time, and deck is not really built to support it. Talents, for example, doesn't really go alongside the strategy of Daruma GG. Not a good different birth. But if we are playing Ninja Labyrinth, how do we fix this? Board breaking spells, I mean, it's so hard for me. Because part of the deck is committed to the monster side of the deck, just the ninja part. Because ninjas is not a trap deck, that you want to say play more ninjas, play more good ninjas, cut down the trap, play lower deck counts. Part of me says commit to the traps, play cards like Strikes, go alongside the Daruma Cannon. You can play other floodgates like Rivalry of the Warlord, not Rivalry, that's not working. I don't know, more lab cards. Cards that complement the Daruma Cannon. But then it clashes with ninjas, and ninjas are kind of fodder that do nothing. I unfortunately don't see the vision. And I'm trying to think how to make it work. The problem here is not really in execution. It's in the idea itself, which sucks, but it's also the truth. If we're going to commit to this, I'd up duplication count for sure. I'd play Green Ninja. I'd probably not focus on the Baku stuff. This synergy is not as important as you think it is. The Upstart Ninja. Don't put too much effort in Upstart being broken. This card trap of Upstart and against the gate gets past the end of the world. Focus on extending past it, not greedy synergies that don't really work though. I guess this does help pick that past it, but it only feels really good for gold. I have to wonder, maybe there isn't. There's a world that's possible. I'd also recommend a second Geo. I think that is pretty good in grind games. Especially grind games for off with this deck. And if you are put into a higher deck count, then it's further kind of helped by the fact that you're not going to draw it as often. I'm almost at a loss though. I don't know how else to manipulate this deck in a way that's while maintaining its identity. The thing is, like execution-wise, it's not the worst. Ratios aren't all over the place. Not behind something. It just feels like the games you're winning are off the back of Daruma carrying versus players that are into it, and the ninja cards that are actually pretty good. It could just be better if you actually focus. An example of trying to cook and be innovative, not really a reason. End up with something that is different, but
Yeah.
not for any good reason. Fortunately, not much to fix here.
Astrologers must
cooking
rid
with
themselves
I don't know how to fix it. Let's move on to the next deck.
of material desires.
Nailed that one.
Only by ridding oneself of
Holy
clutter
shit, it's
can one see
midnight,
the
I need to
true
sleep.
world around
Next
them.
up, we've got
Let me just test this deck.
My notes for the deck. I'm very bad at managing resources by force.
This game is something of a hobby of mine. Please, take a seat.
Also, slow screens are... What? Oh god. Guys just shove things into the next one. Alright. Let's take a look at the decks. Okay. Here's the... holy shit. How much engine do you play?
Take heart. Victory will be ours.
That's what this is. There is not a single non-engine card in the entire Vader side deck. What the hell? Non-engine is for nerds. Time to rip off the band-aid. This is fucking ass. Now, let's talk about deck concepts. Spellbook and White Force. This is synergy. Can't be. Spellcaster synergy.
You can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Without non-engine, man. I fucking hate seeing deck lists without hand traps or board breakers and stuff.
However, while this idea may be more...
If you don't like playing non-engine, maybe just don't play Yu-Gi-Oh!
A lot of
Plenty of games, like the Pokemon TCG, where it's just nothing but gas. Your deck is nothing but gas and nothing else.
I feel like combo decks. Then those decks with like almost no non-engine still played some. And those decks, they were able to beat other decks' engine on their raw power alone. So let me tell you, this is not Games of Thunder Dragon I'm looking at, this is Spellbook. Absolutely some sort of complementary stuff. Opponent can pay a little bit. Same as Ninja opponents. They fundamental form. That aside, there are other problems. Now, in deck building, what we want to do, once to look at the card and ask why we play it, that will dictate often how many do we. Once it tries, yes, that means you should play.
Neutralize.
Don't want to drop it in as engine requirements. Might need like 2 cards. Card is semi-limited, obviously.
I'm gonna get bloomed, god damn it.
Otherwise, pretty much don't need it. But there's some other math.
Honestly, the increased HP is really needed.
Also, they plus the Slinky Force. It's not really true. But, or they would never really work out the way. But the point being, you say that you want 5 miscellaneous sources, but 2 big.
Kokomi has ass survivability.
Outside of that, you don't really want.
In spite of the fact that she's, you know, a fucking healer.
Take them out, it's either one. But beyond that, there are other problems. Like, do we really feel a lot of the cards? Recycling draw power pretty heavy. Ask yourselves, how often do we draw redundant cards and on activate because we have multiple? Pretty frequent. That's going to happen a lot. Also, another problem here is playing some cards that either just suck, they are outdated. They may seem neat, but they're not worth it. One of those cards, High Priestess. Awesome card back in 20. Arguably still banned now. 13 years later, it is not stood the test of time. This card is not worth money. Playing this card would be sort of synergy, combo. This is essentially acting as the shittiest form of follow-up. Because in reality, we build 3 spellbook spells in your hand on turn 1. Not happening. It's going to have to be after resolving judgment on turn 1. At which point, if 6 in hand and a full field, the game should be over. Should not more follow-up on the next turn. And unsearchable, really, in that. Like, how are we accessing this card? I guess Crowley got it right. Now, Crowley doesn't even work. How are we searching this card? I actually get of Marcelia. Marcelia.
Ciela, that's how I pronounce it.
And it's a good follow-up. So I say, out the Priestess. I know that's going to make people sad because it's their favorite Pops card. Welcome to the New Age, kid. It's not worth it. Also, yes, no Garden Clear. Yeah, look at that. Spellcaster, especially Spellcaster game or
Besides, I don't know why anyone wouldn't want to play Feet Lolly in their deck.
Time for reshuffle. Russian plural.
Your burst does not reshuffle the deck.
No way. He double summoned them.
I don't know what game you're playing. It's definitely not this.
Instead of playing double summon, you could just play that's normal summon. Better ones. Blue Boy, for example. only this one to get access to it as well when we want to don't have a normal summon. Or you do so off the scene.
Extract!
So instead of playing 3 this card, it comes down to 1. Knowledge is similar. 1 or 2 leads for a grind game. Hey, not a card I want to draw either. Merciful, put it at 1. Priority, right idea. You want to play this card? 1. Wisdom, 1. Fine. Starhawk.
Oh,
What's this? 100 attack, these spell counters, unplayable. Get it out of here. Oh, but man, this one is like double E. I know we're in the day and
Oh,
age where field
what the
spells are
fuck? I
everything.
think I'm
Praise
dead.
field spells are so broken. This was printed in the bygone era when field spells were not very good.
How did you deal 5 damage?
It'll let you draw a card 1 turn later, bring it to you. That doesn't hold up a body. What else does that? Yes, you can. Card you can and probably should be playing. Because you can get your feet wrong, cycle it off, or that's, yeah, yellow.
There you are.
With that, add it back, you get spells engraved, cycle judgment, that's cool. Look at power. Outdated, outpowered, not worth your time. Spellbook and Master is one you could play. When it copies something on the grave, ever need a second copy of Fate's Wisdom, Eternity, or whatever, or Knowledge, it could act as the secondary copy, but only playing 1 card, 1 master, and then everything else. Misha is typically a low quality expander, you cut it to 1 searchable. Tails and Woes also a searchable, just go to 1. As long as the cross, this card is ass. Again, this is just double sum. Don't play this. That should leave up a lot of space in your deck for actual better engine cards. For example, you could play Officer Goblin, Skill Drain. You control turn 1 or off. You don't negate your cards, you can skill drain them, and then send it off for white force and add it back the next turn. Play
Did they errata this
traps,
as well?
Talents, makes the deck overall a little silly. Extra deck side is entirely can of work. Two service needs to go unless you start building your deck to reflect them. Well, that Azamina would help you get to it more and more. Trying to get like other Azamina go. But then you need like Guardian. A lot of these cards are ultimately rather worthy. For example, Daybreaker. I understand you have the spellcasters, but the card sucks. You're not ever choosing to summon this for something else here. Alchemic Magician as well. Level 4 spellcaster. Let's be real. This is never worth summoning. Looking for synergies in cards, especially older cards, is a dark path to follow. Because they think you bounce people that towards that castigation. Oftentimes, find yourself a worse copy of an existing card. For example, if you want to go into a monster that requires control of forge that does full aspect, version of inflation on the searches, one more thing. It's a slow, very costly search. It is not worth your time. I would not recommend playing the Mastermind card either. I'd recommend focusing on other excellent cards that are more pressing. But the quick synchro ability, Walls, I don't know how much comes up. Gold Dragon, sure. Chaos Angel. Ying is a good one, especially. Wait! Have you ever brought this deck to a tournament? Have you just cracked the troll me? How are you gonna smoke through the room? You don't have a Hero in your deck. There's no Fusion Sorceress, there's no Hero in your deck. What the hell's the point of it? Why are you playing Storm over Slumber? Oh my god.
A bitter pill to swallow.
I thought you guys better. Guys come here with half-baked time. But instead of giving any thought into it, throw this shit into an AI generator. Make me a deck and it spits 3, 2 random cards. Alright, a prophecy. Why not? It has prophecy in the name. A spellbook in its deck. And then you post the deck in Jesse's link. I don't care. I'm not going to look at it. Let him fix the deck for me. Right, you. At least at the forefront, make sure it at least functions properly.
We'll need a strategy.
One last deck. Titan attack, that was not good. Holly99 submitted Ojama Chalice Primite. The self-proclaimed Ojama fan. That would be ass. Reviewed Ojama on this channel before. It has not been good. Ojamas must live up to their symmetry. Let's read the notes on this deck before we hop into it. They say, first of all, no one will ever crush my will and I will ever be an Ojama fan. What do you want to do with it? I don't know what the sign is. I respect it. I also love Ojamas. Combo line is to use World Chalice combo to summon Justicar.
I'm dying.
Then Mundragon to Albion to Ojama. Oh my god, these combo for it. Not again. Other extenders, we are getting Romulus to Ravine, Albaz, and summoning Ivy. That is a sentence. If Ravine sending Albaz, oh my god, that is horrible. Then phase search Brandon and Red, summon Luvelian, Ojama Knight, and board should be King plus Knight plus ID plus Lead. We raise map versus search Ojama Pink, with a draw and Ojama. No! Why are you playing Ojama Pink? The card is unplayable! Bring this to send Ojama or Lee. Side deck is another engine instead of ID plus Side deck another engine instead of ID plus S. Are these things getting worse every time? What the hell? Alright, let's just open it up. Oh, I'm in pain. Guys, yeah. Why does every deck have to be 40 engine parts? I sound like a broken record. I shouldn't have to tell you guys to play cards like Ash Blossom. Alan, come on. I don't know if I failed you guys as teachers or what. Or if, like, you guys are coming from Sam's channel
Roasted rebuild!
how to play like imbeciles, the crap we end up with. Oh, Ojama. Ojama Blue! Most based Ojama Blue! So, what we have here is World Chalice, pretty much. Not Ojama. World Chalice, but instead of going for some little liquid big hit, and then what?
Neutralize!
How do you search the Ojama cards? What's their combo again? Just a card, then Blood Dragon to Albion to Ojama. Answer the question! How do you search the Ojamas? They ask, well, Jesse, search them with Ojin Magic. And Ojin Magic and Ojama Blue all work together. They're not here. They're not here. Are not here.
As you wish.
Check. What the? You're citing a Fiends package? Delusional world you live in. Play Vanilla can always draw them.
Who the
Have you
fuck?
guys read Drama King, by the way? Requires 3 materials! Wait, look. Ravine and Albaz. Just get to it with other extenders. There's no...
The hell are those?
There's no step next to the combo into this Ravine. It's like, next step, trust me, bro. But have an extender that's a dragon or a worm, or a wind beast. Get to Ravine, find a way, just trust me. Wait, are we just searching up Jama's base map? Ah! No. No, Albion? The Jama King. You guys like to read Albion with me? Banish materials from your hand-wielded ring. If we banish the materials, how do we get Brandon and Red to work? We have to Rebellion. We have to burn another card. God. Red to Rebellion. Can't even red for this anyway. Alright. How do we search the Ojamas? Nothing in adventure for searching Ojamas, right? Are we just teleporting out Chosen? Why? Why are there 2 of this in this deck? 3-1 World Chalice normally controls. Okay, but you play just 1, right? I don't get it. You play 1. Why do you need 2? He's gonna get fire bitch shields from the deck?
Your grand finale!
Are they gonna go Ghost Reaper called Chosen by the World Chalice?
Oh.
You're gonna get bottomless trap holes? Like, I don't fucking know. Wait, did they say that Peter Ray's map searches Lee? That's 100 attack. No, Brenda's for that. Peter Ray's map is to search World Legacy. Oh, level 5. That's ass. Or Pink. Have you guys read Ojama Pink? It is so bad. And there's 2 of them in here. Card sends from the hand or field to the graveyard. The player draws 1 card. Then each player discards 1 card. And if you discard an Ojama card, one of opponent's unused monster. You guys heard the Queen song?
Take heart. Victory will be ours.
Remember, health comes first.
What the hell is this? I saw Climate Ojama and I'm like, no, I'm ready to cook. No drill beam in here even. What is the point of this? It doesn't make sense. If they're even right? Make Romulus, the Ravine, and Elbaz. They played it so cursed, we're gonna summon satanic demons. By doing actually broken.
A bitter pill to swallow.
I wouldn't be on board with no drama by like I would have been down. The way I would have gone about it is, imagine my like, you're playing a slow control game, using the constant flow of loading and such, slowly grind access to all your Ojamas one by one. That's what we thought was going to happen. And you focus on that slow, grindy aspect. But for a 40-cut combo deck with no engine, no consistency, no game plan, no flexibility,
How the fuck did I deal 3 damage?
0%. My brother, you said you were a fan of Ojamas? I don't know how you can be a fan of Ojamas and this is what you cook. Somebody who hates Ojamas. It's you forcing them into your deck. Forcing those little dual spirits to be your slaves. Time again. Send them to their death. Absolutely wretched strategy. How to fix a combo variant like I outlined my vision for this is max out Flyby cards, a couple of Ojama cards, and then some traps, non-engine support, full game. That's it. Fusion strap. How do you fix this though? I don't even know.
The doctor will see you now.
Plus, you really want to let's do multiple levels of combo. There should not be a 2. Like your brick to not brick ratio for the equivalent to Brilliant Fusion plus whatever is 2. That's wrong. Past it, you're playing 2 Garnets to Brilliant. That's not more than 3 and 1. Doge match 1 Night Arm Tread. This is not the worst card to draw if you're already comboing this and this off the hand. Rats, there's your Romulus. You know what's crazy as well? If you're summoning Romulus, why isn't there Oja Magic in the deck? Because these things discarding Oja Magic and searching the Ojamas. Like, at least if you do that becomes more consistent. And then you know what? Make it a 60-card deck. That's if you're drawing the Ojamas. Put more extension there, put more engine in there. Rust, search your Oja Magic. You do that instead. This is like the worst possible way to build the worst possible way to build Ojamas. I think. And it's devastating. Now we were brothers in arms. I see where it's going. All of you aspiring Ojama duelists out there, feel free to send me your text list. But I swear, God, if another one of you submits Ojama fucking take, that's a damn good reason, I am going to come over and kick your ass myself. This little shit. Look at this lazy, hard-ass motherfucker. This is the most worthless Ojama. More so than Ojama Green. At least he's for Ojama King. Something brilliant. King shit. Don't play this card. Playing it over blue. Ojama, like. Maybe next time. Alright, guys. That wraps up today's Deathless Nightmares. Hopefully we learned something. No, we learned you have to play non-engine. We learned your combo has to actually work. We learned chasing irrelevant synergies is a bad thing. We learned I'm closer to the breakthrough. I can't stand to look at.
I'm sorry, Chung Chung.
Oh, give them an inch and they'll take a mile.
Alright. So, that said,
Allow me.
You can't hurt me, Jack. I just realized Noelle did absolutely nothing here. Or I guess to be more precise, nobody other than Kokomi did anything here. Holy shit, I'm gonna die.
As you wish. I must leave no stone unturned.
What round are we in? Oh my god. Okay, the team's technically good, but I'm not using this to beat AI. No sir. Can't make me. Won't make me. Not gonna.
Take heart. Victory will be ours. Covenant of the Deep! Go! Must learn from my mistakes. That was the plan.
Dying? Great plan.
Steady as stone. Yay, I did it! Oh, wait. No, I didn't.
Jesus Christ. Alright, let's make this quick. My dailies.
You win. I should have thought twice before playing that card.
No, your only mistake here was choosing to play the game with me. Yo! It should be faster if I just explore the world, right?
Hi, welcome to the Covert Go Blue podcast. Welcome back to the Covert Go Blue podcast.
The congested Go Blue podcast for today.
Yes,
You and I are both not feeling it.
We are 100% taking on what I guess is the spring allergies. I've never had these. Like, this has not been something that's affected me in the past.
Same.
So I thought I just had a cold. One symptom that was. But I'm here. And does the tea help? You always get.
I help. I'm a tea. So, in my opinion, yes, but obviously, you know, coffee, or what have you. I am protein.
Interesting. I don't drink coffee at all. I think just maybe some hot drink in the morning. I'm gonna have to try it. I'm into this allergy, so comments on how you combat these monstrosities because. But that's today's allergy talk podcast. The Cobra Code Kid just
Brought to you by.
brought to you by CoolStuffGeeks.com. We're going to be sponsoring audio podcasts, which you can now find on Spotify and iHeartRadio. Apple Podcasts. Use the promo code CTVPod and check out on CoolStuffGeeks.com to get a discount. Chant those audio thousands listening to our beautiful voice. And if you haven't helped, let's subscribe on those platforms so that you can take our show wherever you go. What the hell is our show, you might ask? An allergy talk.
Because yeah, hour and a half.
There. And I'm really excited about it. So, you don't have to go dragons or you know a little something about this. This will come out after our first video. You see.
I like to talk about it.
Okay. Talk about it a little bit, yeah, absolutely. But Target Dragon Sword, the long-awaited original concept art here, and its block. And today, cards.
Shit, I like murder, but
Wow.
not when I'm the one who's very murderable.
I know. It's all about just terrible formats. This one is actually a really successful format. And so I'm going to be asking, because nostalgia, you're going to be checking out some of these.
Oh, there's a new artifact set. Right. That makes a lot of sense.
But now it might have been like something like that. But I think you're gonna do fine with it because you're really good at picking up skills, you know, lifelong, very important thing, and you're going to get magic cards.
Oh no! No, this is the new best set for Who the Hell? Nah!
Well, that's exactly what .dev, the sponsor of today. .dev learned back-end web development from start to finish, from Python and programming language.
Strength is one of those things where you gotta use.
Long enough. You can't learn to code without actually writing a lot of code and building a project. This is where Boot.dev shines by building a fantasy world type game while also learning the language. I've never understood a single thing about code, but I was able to get
Dang it, Emily's not at all that fun to play when her fucking shit looks like that. Oh.
Membership across all AI assistance, progress tracking. So start your journey to being a mythic coder today. Go to Dev. We're going 25% off higher first order and plan. That's Boot.dev. We're going 25% off the annual plan. Now back to the so odds of Target. First thing to understand is that you need to install the box.
Do the spoils live up to your expectations?
It's just like it's like some number of sets, and that's the number of time frame. I don't know, like I know it's like a chunk of time. I'm going to elaborate on it. Very long period of time. Thousands of plastic.
Wow, I'm bad at this. Was I just supposed to grab all of them?
Huh, not a shred of information about the owner.
I just remembered, I guess I still do have Shilonen. Oh, but my other Shilonen team isn't all that powerful either, aren't they?
Or in some cases, against those mechanics, being more dynamic environment. And then
Bring it!
third small to be left out.
Get fight!
Oh, God.
Stick around! I'm unstoppable!
Let the mountain's veins boil!
God damn it.
Stick around!
By royal decree! Bring it! Hear the echoes of the valley! Don't blink! Cut to the chase!
Is it over? Oh yeah, seems like it's over.
So I'm going to show you these 5 most rare.
Hey!
Forget it!
Sort of does this thing locks, but we just don't all impacts. I think it's just like that's
Not bad,
that's a
as far as treasure is concerned.
after I want to say after like or like world championship and stuff. So you play around like on and then a set and it's not like a card set like they it would still be like a card set typically.
What the hell are these?
It sort of is like it's setting the tone, and so typically get several parts in the product that the next product stand upon fourth product will stand upon. Essentially, so it's weird that like half blocks people like I'm thinking about like there's so many examples. They slowly it's interesting that has that been in place for a long time though? I am curious. I like to watch it. It's a good question. I want to say yes. Especially so here with us.
Minute to memory. This way, turn away.
Let the mountain's veins boil! Speed of light! Hey! Yeah! With sword comes shadow. Incoming!
Grow, grow, grow.
Shadow Raven! Alright. Don't blink!
And it's dominating. That's because they were cards that were brand new and never were seen before by the Asian territories. And then after about a year, they'll make their way into Asia. So we have this like weird hybrid. For instance, typically the first set was like
You give, you receive.
I don't want to spoil too much because I show you the point, but it was like 4 or 5 card archetype deck, and you can see the potential of that deck. The mechanics, the dynamics of the house. Like the second set gives us like the broken shit. Like it'll give us the set that gives us the cards that are gonna make the archetype of it. And then the third and fourth set, some may or may not be more strong or I don't know. I feel like we followed that pattern in the past decade, but there definitely was a
Bring it!
there wasn't even pattern cards different. It's like archetypes.
Let's hope you pull up a good fight!
Alright.
Hear the echoes of the valley.
Finish this next time.
Incoming. Cut to the chase.
Forget it.
Hey!
Structure of knowing them. Why? And I think get rid of that's a great question. I and the yeah, out here T2 aggressive microphone. Anyway, I said article talk about it. I'm trying to remember the reason behind what we're producing is always a question mark. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you. I suppose like just like first sentence, lead the one into that. I feel like that keeping training his perspective. Right? My best guess is why they do that, but I
Perfect weather for a nap in the workshop.
I'm glad we didn't spend that's in that world. That would be obnoxious. So, good conspiracy theory that's a reason to riskier stuff that they have their primary base for the long term. I think in hindsight now, I think it's universes beyond. I think they wanted to do more even beyond more final fantasy sense or avatar sense and dropping it makes sense. Right, that's what I think it was. That's what I think. Let us know in the comments. Here's what you think. Also, let me know if you missed blocks. I like blocks. I like them a lot. I like really good to fully flesh out a world. Are you ready to flesh out this world? I am. I'm excited. Especially since it's like very well received. Here's to see why this is the case. Be like this is power. Brad, you sent me everything at once. So you're gonna read them all at once. Should I go one at a time? Yeah, read the card and react a little fun to the text. First up is Butcher of the Horde. 6 days. 1 of red, a white, and a black. It's 5. And sacrifice another 3 for Horde games choice of influence, light, and haste. Very fitting for couples. That's pretty cool. Rare. Especially if, like, obviously, like, Trinity. I'm slowly starting to understand alright the identities, but they were learning, like,
We'll stay pretty little. Odds reveal that. Alright. Speed of light. Make yourselves a room. Wings of darkness. Alright.
Let the mountain's veins boil!
Incoming with sword from shadow. Speed of light. Hey! Yeah! By royal decree. Hey! Incoming. Cut to the chase.
You give, you receive.
I guess I was about to say that the guy on the Mantis, on the actual Mantis itself. Is Mantis a title? Had they never done? That's a title. Okay, sure. They would probably make it. We have the insects. I don't think so. I showed you like one. Very simple card. Flying Vigilance Haste. Similar to the Butcher, I just love like this. I love the simplicity of the card. It's just like embodies.
Let me go beat up the boss.
You got like flying. You have white. You have the haste red.
Before I go.
That seems pretty good. Like, it's like I see this and this like if I'm just gonna rank those two as is, I kind of like the Mantis.
All right.
I don't know. I think like there's values in it. Have to sacrifice something, but obviously that's pretty color wants to do. But granted, like it's hard for me to grasp like stats, especially like as cards, but like 3 mana for 3 different colors, different keywords seems really good to me. just like on face, but
Running late
I
again.
love that he's riding a fucking man. I just want to put it at number 1 because of that. Alright. Next up is my favorite color team. We have Rakshasa. No, is that correct? Okay. This is 2 of black. Expensive. Green cat.
Hurry up, Grassa! Get back on track.
Exile. One more card. Exile.
So shiny.
So, pump this guy
Time to
up.
roll.
Like, that's all. Now you remember from when I played, my X colors. Like, that's not hard to, but, like, it's just a guy. I wish there was, like, on this, because, like, with Butcher, I feel like other things that benefit from, like,
Roll.
that's there. And I feel like the Mantis Rider's value. I think this is, like, the least impressive of the 3 that I've seen so far.
Go!
If I were to rating these, like, in real time, I'm like, Mantis Rider at the top, with the horse, and then or this is like, I don't know, and like, maybe I'm wrong, maybe. I mean, I guess the word Butcher is exile.
Look out below!
And maybe that's fine, but...
Time to roll! Gotta steer clear of other people.
You could, like, exile something. Rely on something else. That, I feel like this is, like, better.
Look out below!
Let's see what we got. Cabbage Knuckle. May have... Yes. Looks somewhat. Possible. I showed you his ducks. Possible. What's possible? Green, blue, or red for a 4/4. So better for cat. Difference is, though, requires you to pay mana for opening. Tuna Green Savage Knuckleblade gets +2/+1 for activating this turn. That's like how they have.
Try all reliable.
Yeah, very good. First Savage Knuckleblade. And
Anyway, this is what I have on her.
yes,
With the new plunge attack thingy, considering I only ever plunge with Hu Tao, the damage will increase quite a lot from that set. I'll get less HP, but like, oh no.
Strike a pose! Time to shine!
Quietly now. Here comes the catch. Got her! Make way for the...
The horror. What will I ever do with less HP?
Higher, pants on fire! Let the world come alive!
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Quietly now. Got her! Skyward! Stray clouds converge!
Let my name echo in song!
Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Skyward! Scatter! Seize the skies!
each Rhino enters the battle. Opponent moves like
I honestly thought she'd be Pyro.
so this is weird. We have talked about this.
Electro has turned into the new Pyro, honestly, at this point.
There's one to say, and I feel confident. I think there's
Wanna
like
come over for tea?
one actual like a card. No.
Strike a pose! Time to shine!
Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Skyward! Gray clouds converge!
God's over! Shower me with praise! Let my name echo in song!
Busted. Here comes the catch. Scatter! Skyward! Make way for the...
to like shorten the time, and it sort of worked, but at the compromise of people getting pissed off at the time rules. Result. So it's very frustrating. It causes a lot of tension in the community when like the rounds are very close to time because everyone's like, speed up playing, different things like that. As you know, sometimes you need to take a lot of actions during a single turn, right? So it's a very hated part of the.
Shower me with praise! Time to shine! Busted. Game's up. Fun's over. Make way for the adept! Let my name echo in song! Gotcha. Quietly now. Here comes the catch. Skyward! Seize the skies! Time to shine! Gotcha. Game's up. Fun's over. Busted. Skyward! Scatter! Stray clouds converge!
That means they take longer to complete their tournaments over there. Jeez.
We were here for all of it. I have to stress, we get draws.
Yeah, we do too.
Time.
We draw time.
Okay. You said higher life, so why was
Strike a pose! Let my name echo in song! Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Skyward! Scatter! Seize the skies! Time to go! Shower me with praise! Let the world fly! Busted! Gotcha! Here comes the catch! Scatter! Skypo! Make way for the Strike pose! Let my name echo in song! Quietly now. Busted. Things are about to get dicey. Scatter! Skyward! Seize the skies!
I love that you can just refight bosses now. I can actually listen to the full version. God, it feels so wrong to hear the outro. My first time listening to the song
Right, and if you're both
for that
tied,
long.
that's all you need, and it's like built into the
Wow.
game already. It's very frustrating.
So, saying Siege Rhino is busted.
So that's sort of what I wanted to circle back to. The point is, the only reason the light game cards are
Let the world collide!
one card.
Quietly now. Here comes the catch. Scatter! Skyward! Higher, higher, hands on fire! Let my name echo in song! Busted! Game's up. Fun's over. Scatter! Skyward! Stray clouds convert! Time to shine! Strike a pose! Gotcha! Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey. Seize the skies!
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Let my name echo in song! Yoo-hoo! Busted! This isn't good!
Can only use this effect of Ghost Sister and Spooky Dog Return. And the effect. Each time your opponent's special summons can affect monsters during the main phase or battle phase, you gain life points equal to the monster's attack.
If you do not gain life points by this effect, your life points are halved during the end phase.
So this is actually a way that in the instant zone, I'm explaining to
Oh,
you
that's
where
funny.
if there's like close to time being called in a round, the player who's not the turn player can actually use this as a way for them to gain life points to like win that game. But outside of that, if we're going to take the time out of it, there's actually a strategic purpose to
Add
playing this
Astra.
card. So this is max C.
Thank you for
instead of card draw. That's
Add Astra.
And what's interesting about this is that there is a world, this game may sound crazy to you, there is a world Dogwood could actually gain like 20,000 life points.
It happened to me once.
And what's interesting about that is, although you might keep cards off of this,
Well, not to me, but my opponent Go Sister Spooky Dog with me, and I'm playing Drytron. You could guess what a great idea that was. You could guess how much HP I gave them.
Life points are like 30,000. Most attacks are designed to like kill at like 8,000, right? Sometimes it can go to like 9 or 10,000, but typically like they have 8,000 life. Life gain is a thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! So as long as
Oh, you know, there's
like
also
8,000
Tanfly,
plus,
which deals like 24,000.
Dogwood sort of throws that on its head